Hey guys, Moneyman300, got another tuning video today. This time we have the BMW 1M. This is a car that I used for a tuning challenge over on the Forza Motorsports.net forum. There were probably 25 people, maybe not that many, 20. But it happened to finish second. It was tuned. There were 3 tracks. There was this one, Sebring Short, I believe, and one other. Might have been one of the Silverstone ones. Silverstone full. I think it was Silverstone full. But anyway, one car, you enter it in. You have somebody drives every car in all 3 of them, and happened to finish second, so it was pretty good. So I thought I'd put this tune out there for you BMW fans. This was the first car that, when I first put in the game, and you had to pick that first car. This is the first one I had, so I always wanted to get it tuned up, and it's actually pretty good. It's a fun car to drive. It's fast. So let's let's give it a whirl around here. I did the all warmed up and ready to go. So the rival I have up here is, I just picked the guy in 500th. This isn't going to be something that's going to blaze top hundreds in the leaderboard, but it's going to do well. So here we go. Was a good first turn there, so let's see if we can't stay ahead of this guy a little better this time. Good turn there too. This will get us good lead because we're faster in the straightaway anyway. So, oh yeah, we're pulling away. Go, get through that section, and this next turn is freaking just kills me. Terrible. Just feels so slow all the time through there. And this one here. Go, push it right up to the track. He probably caught me there. He's gonna catch me in these turns. Oh, no, don't do it. Staying ahead a little bit here. Uh-oh, push that turn way out. And that one, trying to make, oh, and he caught me. Just trying to make up time for one bad turn. Alright, I'll catch him again up here. We'll get him. You hit that 5th gear in this one, you just really start to get some speed out here. Oh, and I dirtied it right there. That brake just really threw me in there. Are we gonna have enough? He's gonna get me on acceleration. No. Oh. Okay, so that was pretty close. Could have been a little better. Really butchered the last part of that. Easily lost a 1.5 seconds on that lap. Which would have put us down in the 236s, which you could easily run this into the 236s, probably even a little better, which puts you solidly in the top 300. So it's a good car on the speed tracks. It's going to do well on the speed tracks. It's fun to drive, and I think it's a cool car. So let's hop over in the garage and take a look at the parts and the tune. Okay, so here we are over in the garage. So let's hop in and take a look at the parts that we have on here. First off, as always, we will take a look at our engine conversion, and we are going to have an engine swap in this one. And what I'll do is I'll show the numbers real quick, and then I'll talk about the engine swap. So we have 6.8 speed, 5.0 handling, 8.2 acceleration, 8.1 launch, and 5.3 braking. Car accelerates really well, launches good, and is pretty fast. Not going to be quite as good handling. This is more of a speed setup, but it still handles well enough. We have 485 horsepower, 481 foot-pounds of torque, 2,968 pounds, 53% of that weight to the front, and 6 liters of displacement. So our engine upgrade is the this thing comes stock, as you see, with the 3-liter V6. We upgrade to the 5.7 liter V8. Doesn't match the displacement, as you'll notice on there, at 6.0, but that's because we have an engine block upgrade that takes us up to 6.0. But yeah, there's that one. Couldn't quite get into the other ones. I think it'd be pretty cool to take this up to an A class, maybe somewhere in here, and then add some more tires. We'll put the V10 engine in it. Could be kind of a beast in another class up. But anyway, we went with the 5.7 liter V8 here. And then, as you'll see on a lot of my tunes, we have the centrifugal supercharger conversion on there as well. So that will do it for the conversion area. Let's go over to the engine. We're going to have the street intake. And something in this one? No. Street intake, and then next part we have is the street exhaust. And if we roll over here to displacement, and we're going to have the race engine block in there. And that's what brought us up from, if we look here, 5.7 liters of displacement up to 6 liters. I don't do this one very often, but just trying to get the PI to balance out right. This was seemed to be a good bang for my buck. 24 horsepower and 15. Is it 15 PI? Yeah, 15 PI. So that's not bad. So yep. So that's why we went with that this time. And then this is the first part that I go into. If I do a turbo conversion of any kind, or a supercharger conversion, always come in here and try to max this out first, because you're generally going to get the biggest bang. So if I look here, 66 horsepower for 36 PI. So you always get really good bang here. I would always start here first. And that's going to be the last engine part that we have. Let's take a look at our power curve just a little bit here. So if we look at where you should be shifting, it's going to be on that high end. So you can look at the green line, and you're all the way up at the red line. So you want to run this right to the red line and shift in there. All right, so next part's over is going to be the platform and handling, and we have race everything. So I'm not going to go through all these. This is all race. Just throw it all on there. That'll take us over to the drivetrain. One thing that's interesting with this is I have the race clutch on here, and I don't really know why. But however, I did notice as I was driving it that this car shifted really smooth, and especially when you go from 4th to 5th gear, it's got a great shift and power jump in there, and I think you'll probably notice that as well. But you could come in here and you get 6 PI back. That's a fair amount. You could get another 10 horsepower out of this and get it close to 500 horsepower. So if there's anything I would improve on this car, I might consider doing this and see, driving around a little bit, see how it feels, take this off, maybe add a little horsepower, and see if it makes it better or worse. But I usually don't do this, and I'm not sure why I tuned this. It's been probably 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks since I tuned this one, so wasn't sure what my thought process was there, but the car works well, so I wasn't going to mess with it right now. I have the sport transmission in there so I can get that adjustable final drive ratio, and no drive line. And then, as always, we're going to have the race differential so we can have that be adjustable. So let's go into our tires, and we are going to have stock tire compound. Like I said, it's more of a speed build. Going to need another 9 PI. I mean, if you didn't feel like it handled well enough, usually for me, going between street and stock, I'd rather have the horsepower. If I could get up into the sport, and still have a decent horsepower, then maybe it's worth it. And you can see the check marks by all of them. I'm sure I tried them all out as I was trying to find the right speed to handling balance, and felt okay with the stock tire compound, so went with that. On the front, I have no upgraded width on that, so we have stock there. And on the rear, we have the 315, so full upgrade. Let's go over to our wheels, and we're going to have, in the third set of wheels, the third wheel over. It's the Asante AF134, a heavier wheel, just to get the PI balanced appropriately. And I thought it looked cool. If we go back in there, I just thought it looked cool on that car. And then we've got also our I think we have stock on the front and back with the rim sizes. Yep, so stock rim sizes there. And we're gonna have race front arrow race rear aero, and I don't believe I did anything with the, oh I did. So we also have a bumper here, which I think it must be a weight play. Yeah, it's like 3 pounds lighter, so got a bumper out of it. I think it looks a little nicer. I don't know, you go either way on that, but yeah, so we did get a bumper out of this one as well. Okay, that is all the parts that we have, so let's hop over in and take a look at our tune. So we have the tire pressures, 28.5 and 28. Our gearing, the only adjustable part here is the final drive, and we have that at 3.25. The alignment, we have our front camber at -2.4, the rear camber at -2.1, those lower, higher camber numbers, whatever you want to call that. 0.2 and 0.1, this is a little more toe than I would normally have, and I believe this was the default, and I just didn't have any reason to change it off of that, so I just left it at the default. A lot of times that'll be 0 and 0, but I left it at default and it seemed to work okay, and I went a little higher with the caster angle at 6.0, and that's just to support the lower negative camber. You could try it at 5.0, it'd probably work okay there too, you know, at the default, or you know, maybe 5.5, somewhere in there. As long as it's stable, as long as the car's stable coming out of the turns and you're able to drive it down the straightaways, then you'll be in pretty good shape. Roll bars, this is to help with some of the oversteer that this car has with the stock tires and quite a bit of horsepower, but will be stiffer in the front with 24.82 and the rear 18.66, and you're going to see a similar setup in the springs with 750.5 on the front, 676 in the rear, and a ride height of 4.6 and 4.9. I probably had these bumped all the way down and had to raise them just a little. I did notice 1 or 2 spots where it felt like when I hit the turning strips that I might have been still losing control a little, so you might even go 1 click higher than this if you find that happen, 1 or 2 clicks depending on the track. Rebound stiffness, we're going to be pretty stiff on the rebound, pretty soft in the bump at 9.4 and 7.3 on our rebound stiffness, and then 3.0 and 2.0 on our bump. The aero, just default. This is another place, always a place where you could do some different things. You could take the aero out if you want it to be a little faster. If you want a little bit more stable, especially on some higher speed turns, go ahead and add some downforce in. You may have to adjust the springs or the ride height one way or another when you do that, because you're putting more weight on the springs or less weight depending on what you do with the downforce here. So 53%, you know, that if you've seen my videos, that's pretty much my standard. I don't get away from that very often unless the car feels unstable under braking, and it didn't. And I'm using 120 for pressure. That's all very personal as to how you want that set up. Depends on what feel you like. 120 works for me here. The differential, 12%, pretty low on the front. That's to help control that wheel spin coming out of turns. I like to jam on it a little bit, and that helps keep the car stable coming out. And then the deceleration is at 25%. This car does, I do run traction control with this car, and it's because of the stock tires. It does help keep control. If you have a really good trigger finger, you could get away without traction control, but you might consider, as you're, if you're going to run this car, to go ahead and turn traction control on with it. Nothing wrong with that. I run it, and if you're watching a video, the race part of it, I had traction control on there. So yeah, so that is it. So that's all the pieces and the parts. Trying to think. We got the 500. I'm pretty close to the 500 subs. I think as I'm talking, I'm like 2 away or something, like at 498. So I will be doing a giveaway. The next video I upload will be another, I believe it'll be another tuning video, and I'll talk about the details of that in there. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.